The final new moon of the summer is happening on Saturday, August 27th in the health, service, and detail-oriented sign of Virgo. It's time to get organized, declutter, and make those doctor's appointments. I'm here to tell you more and to break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you'd like to work with me and book your consultation, there's a link down below. I am currently doing a discount, 20% off for solar and natal chart readings for all Virgos during Virgo season. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit that like button, leave me a comment. Any interaction with you guys really help. I wanted to mention that I have recently created candles. At this point, when I'm recording this video, there's only one of them left, so they may be sold out by the time you see it. But I have recently created candles with solar properties. It's a very, fine, detailed process, and my Virgo sun, Venus and Mars heart enjoyed the process. So it involves choosing the time, it involves the ritual element, highlighting the planet that is at its maximum power. So if that one candle is still available, there's a link down below, and if it's been sold out, there's definitely going to be more. So thank you for listening, to indulging in my self-promotion. Let's talk about this new moon, right? It's an exciting new moon. It's not the easiest new moon. It's not just like all harmony. It's gonna square Mars, but there is some helpful energy, some supportive aspects. We are in Virgo season at this point. Virgo is a sign of careful judgment, right? If you watched my Virgo season video, you know that I was talking about Virgo constantly weighing all the things, being very aware of everything that is going on. If you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out. It has a lot of interesting information about Virgos. But there's that awareness of everything that needs to be done. There is a lot of awareness of health and routines and our well-being, and how important it is to have a healthy attitude towards life, to eat well, to move your body, to go on walks. So this new moon might bring your attention to the overall well-being of the house in your chart that it's happening in. Let's say if you're an Aries rising and Virgo is your 6th house, it might be very literal and you implement new health routines. If it's in your social media house, and if you are a Scorpio rising, right, then maybe it's the time to implement better social media boundaries, right? To sort of separate yourself or review how you approach social media. The review thing will be quite prevalent and important with this new moon too, mainly because Mercury is about to station retrograde on September 9th. So it's unusual energy, right? Not only you are implementing more routines, more health, wellness, things that improve your life, you're also looking at things that no longer serve you. It is happening at 4 degrees Virgo. So if you have any planets from 0 until 8 degrees Virgo, you might feel it especially strong. And also for people with Pisces, Sag, and Gemini placements in those degrees, it might be extra important to you. And it is the start of a longer cycle that's going to last approximately 6 months, right? You're not necessarily going to see the results immediately. Maybe the new moon is the time when you make a decision to quit smoking, and then 6 months later you celebrate your 4 months anniversary or something like that. So great time, this new moon, to not only think about your health, but also get organized, whatever that means. Maybe it means cleaning your mailbox. Don't ask me how many emails I have in my mailbox, as much as I try. Not my professional one, but my personal one looks kind of messy. And that's also any Virgo, right? Virgos, we have this image of perfection and everything together on the outside, but you don't look in that closet. It's Friends reference from Monica's secret closet. If you know that reference, comment down below. So time to get organized, clean that mailbox, set some time aside every day to meditate, even if it's 5 minutes before you go to bed, right? Like we can all spare 5 minutes. Turn off your screens like an hour before bed. Don't scroll on TikTok. Go to bed 20 minutes earlier. Like think of all these things that can make your life better. And then Virgos really like long lists. We like to do lists. I feel like it's a very personal video because I am a Virgo, but might be the time to you know, like create a list and kind of write down step-by-step things that you'd like to accomplish. Oh, also, I didn't say that I am, as you know, I'm still traveling. I'm still in France, and I'm currently in Nice. It says right there, right there. It kind of confirms that I am, well, you know that I'm traveling. But anyways, so making a list, thinking of improving your life, thinking of like small things, but not being too caught up in the little things. There might be tension internally because this new moon squares Mars very like exactly. Mars will be at 4 degrees Gemini, the moon will be and the sun are both at 4 degrees Virgo. And Mars square the moon creates tension, it's like Mars and Gemini, so there might be like some words that get exchanged, some hurtful things, some unpleasant experiences. Some of it might be inner tension, as someone who has planets in Gemini and Virgo and lives with them. It might feel a little bit like Gemini has all these ideas. It's like a rambunctious child who wants to go here, wants to go there, wants to do this, wants to do that. And like, you know, you may feel it somewhere in your chart, wherever Gemini is, that you're like excited about a bunch of things. And Virgo is like this older sister that has to sit the child down, explain to the child that you cannot do everything, you cannot run into the street because the car might be around the corner. So there's a little bit of that kind of like inner, like, which direction do I take? And then maybe with the new moon in Virgo, you put really high expectations on yourself and then feel frustrated because you don't reach those expectations. So try to be kind with yourself. Don't get too caught up in the idea of perfection, right? This is very much the danger with any Virgo placement, getting too stuck on the need to be the perfect student. There was a time in my life when I lived in Turkmenistan for like a couple of years and I studied Turkish. And clearly I wasn't that good at Turkish as a child who just recently moved to Turkmenistan. But because I have 3 planets in Virgo, I like had to be the A student. So I fought with my teacher like to get an A, and I think she gave me an A, but like I speak basically no Turkish at this point, except like I can maybe count to 5 or 10. But like don't get too focused on, you know, things being perfect and ideal. Appreciate the beauty of imperfection. And if you are a Virgo, or if you have any strong Virgo placements, you know, comment down below and tell me how you deal with this perfectionism of a Virgo. But the good thing is with this square is that squares are of the nature of Mars and they force us to act. They're actually great for dealing with these tensions. Like, yes, you may feel like stuck, you may feel like you have too many ideas, maybe you don't know how to implement them, but you want to grow through that tension. And maybe something happens, like, you know, if you want to quit, if you want, like, I don't know, you want to streamline your schedule to start going to the gym, maybe something happens, maybe someone like hurts you and makes you feel insecure about something, and then you end up like making a decision to improve your life. So even though this could be like a tense aspect, it's not necessarily going to be just difficulty for the sake of difficulty. Another thing too, both Virgo and Gemini are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury at the moment of the new moon is trining Mars, providing a sense of relief, providing us with diplomatic skills, with ability to navigate conflict and bring harmony. So your communication can be very powerful at this time. And do as much as you can to, you know, love yourself. Give yourself some love. Take a bath. Turn on your favorite music. Turn your phone off. Don't look, I mean, or if social media is your way of relaxation, go on social media. But like, try to, I've been on this social media, how do I balance kick a little bit. So if you've been, you know, if you hear me talk about it again and again, that's just the mind, the headspace I'm in right now. But let's talk about all 12 signs and see what this might mean for you. For Aries rising, Virgo is the 6th house, the place of health, service, daily routine, problem solving, anything that like you have to do on a daily basis in order for your life to stay organized. So with the new moon here, you may be questioning your organization, questioning your daily life, and figuring out how can you better your health, right? Like my Aries rising friend has been like very into the idea of like supplements and, you know, buying a program of like drinking supplements, and Frenchmen outside are like going nuts. I don't know if you can hear them. I am quite high up. But yeah, like, you know, investing into your health. And this new moon is squaring Mars in your 3rd house. So Mars in the 3rd house might have to do with your schedule. Maybe there's like conflicts with people in your immediate environment, some frustration about the way you organize your day. Maybe even a sense of like something in your like immediate space is not quite working and you need to change things. Like, let's say you like, I don't know, in your apartment there is not a space to work out, but you are really on this health kick and you want to start working out. So there might be a sense of like needing to rethink your space, right? Like there is that frustration in your immediate environment, or there is miscommunications, and you need to bring new beginnings into your sector of health or your sector of work. If it's like miscommunication with colleagues, you go and improve your professional relationships. If it's your immediate environment, you go and like sign up for a gym, basically. But yeah, expect new beginnings at work and in health. That might mean letting go of bad habits, starting new habits, and just like overall getting more organized, maybe even professionally, like thinking of things that are time wasters and are not necessary to you. For Taurus rising, there's a new moon in the 5th house, and it's going to square Mars in the 2nd house. This is interesting. Mars in the 2nd house sometimes makes people like impulsive about spending money. So maybe you like spend a bunch of money, and that brings a sense of like now you don't have enough to spend on some fun in your life, and you need to be more organized about, with like the new moon in the 5th house, maybe you need to figure out how to spend money better. There is also might be with like Mars in the 2nd house, you might feel very competitive and very desirous of new kind of undertaking and new financial venture, but maybe you're not quite sure how to proceed, and then you feel like a sense of frustration connected to that. There might also be conflicts around money matters that maybe you spend on things that your partner doesn't approve of, or that doesn't benefit your children somehow. And this might be you, or maybe there's someone in your life that spends like that and you don't agree with them. So definitely some sense of like questioning money matters, also maybe questioning your values and things that are important to you, because ultimately new moon in the 5th house is urging you to bring new ways of having fun, to find more creative outlets for yourself, to spend more time with children, to have children. And I just feel like there's something in your financial sector, on the sector of your desires, that you haven't quite figured out yet. So there's a need to organize your finances, right? Or to streamline your finances, to narrow down things that you are spending money on. There might be new beginnings in romantic sector of your chart, because that's what fifth house is. Watch out for being too critical of yourself and of your partner. Watch out for being too critical or too narrow-minded when it comes to the way you see your project playing out. This might also be this tension, right? Like Mars in the second house of values, you have this idea that you think like that's the way things should be. And this new moon might ask you to like be less stuck, because Virgo's challenge is not seeing the forest for the trees. So try to step away from your own stubbornness or from your own limitations. For Gemini rising, we have Moon in the fourth house squaring Mars in the first house. Mars in the first house likely just gives you all the energy, all these exciting new ideas. Like my Gemini rising friend, if you're watching, hi. But like she has a ton of ideas, and she's also like researching new things. And I'm like, where do you have time? You have a child. I'm like, how do you find time for all these like research and all these new ideas? But that's how, like, if you're a Gemini rising, that's just how your brain works. You are, especially with Mars entering your first house on August 20th and staying there for the next 7 months, it's like about action. You're ready to take action, but it's still Mars in Gemini, so it might be a little bit flustered, right? It might spread the energy into too many directions. And Virgo, new moon in your fourth house, might encourage you to like get more organized, to maybe even organize your space. Because if you have all these ideas, right, and some of them involve working from your home or making products from your home or creating something from your home, you may need to maybe get rid of certain things, declutter to have a better flow. Maybe you're even encouraged to move, right, or to figure out your living situation in a way that opens up space for all these exciting new projects. And ultimately, with the new moon in the fourth house is the place of comfort and security and things that make us feel at ease. So maybe you're also asked to look at all of your projects and choose those that make you feel at ease. Don't go for it all, because it all is not possible, right? But a few. Here's the story of my life with the moon in Gemini and sun being in Virgo in my chart. You cannot do all of them. You can do a few projects really well. So try to narrow it down and try to ask yourself which one of them make you feel secure and more at home. For Cancer rising, we have a new moon in the third house squaring Mars in the 12th house. Mars in the 12th house likely is encouraging you to work on your own, to pursue any spiritual projects, to desire escape somehow. Maybe you're interested in going away. Maybe you're interested in learning about spirituality. And then there is this new moon in the third house is asking you to express yourself. It's asking you to communicate. Third house is the place of talking about things. So this could mean taking some of your active imagination and your hard work and turning it into a project that people can see, a YouTube channel, people can hear, a podcast, something of value, something that presents your thoughts and your ideas to the world. This might be about healing, because 12th house deals with self-defeating, self-undoing tendencies, and Mars being in your 12th house by transit could be very much, where are you sabotaging yourself? Where are you being too critical of yourself? And how can you talk it through with a therapist, with a friend, with a sibling or a family member, and kind of feel better about yourself? Or find a way to heal your own self-defeating thoughts. Basically, you're very much encouraged to organize your self-limiting beliefs and maybe narrow things down a little bit. Maybe, with a new moon in the third house, great time to journal, to meditate, to go away if you can, or yeah, I'm like bringing together significations of the 12th and the 3rd house. I think, to me, this feels like, how can you believe in yourself more? How can you pursue these things that you are excited about, but don't pursue a million things? Start with 1 or 2. I'm just seeing it with my Cancer rising friend a lot. She's just like, every day she has a new idea, and she has 2 planets in Gemini natally. So I'm just like, my Gemini moon is excited, but my Virgo placements are like, can you just pick one? So yeah, like try to narrow it down, but also make sure that you are being kind and compassionate to yourself. And if you don't have the answers right away, it's okay. You don't have to have the answers right away. Take it easy. Be kind to yourself. For Leo rising, we have a new moon in the 2nd house squaring Mars in the 11th house. Mars in the 11th might speed up your social life. There might be a lot of action. There might be a lot of social media action. Maybe you're presenting your ideas. Maybe you're working with other people. You may have a lot of dreams, a lot of goals. While the new moon in the 2nd house will ask you to narrow them down a little bit. There might be a need to choose some that are more worth your time, that are building you up versus just confuse you or spread you too thin. There might be certain conflicts with friends connected to values, right? Like maybe Mars in the 11th house, maybe like a friend shows up as this Mars and they're being too demanding or they're being too competitive. And then you clash with them, somehow calling you to talk about values and maybe figure things out. There might be a need to rethink your finances, and conflicts with friends around money are possible too. But ultimately, I just feel like with Mars in your 11th house and the new moon in the 2nd house, it's like, what is more important to you? Are you more focused on spending time with your friends? Are you more focused on building your professional future? Is it about money? Is it about feeling recognized and appreciated for the work that you do? Maybe there is, even with the new moon in the 2nd house, maybe there's new professional opportunities and you are questioning whether you want to take these opportunities or you want to, like, you know, whether you want to take the highest paid job or the most valued job. And let me know if anything like this is happening in your life, or you're questioning, you know, your goals and your finances. For Virgo rising, this is quite significant. Of course, Virgo season highlights your 1st house. So there's a new moon in your 1st and it squares Mars in the 10th. Mars in the 10th can show up in a shape of conflicts with bosses. It can show up as in like you have too many things, you're handling too many things, juggling a lot of things. And it leads to frustration on a personal front because maybe there's not enough time for your personal goals and projects. And whatever tension, whatever conflict you might experience, it could be very eye-opening and groundbreaking when it comes to your personal self-development, because ultimately the new moon in the 1st house wants you to grow. It wants you to invest into yourself. So you may first have to navigate the tense waters at your job and talk to bosses, maybe streamline things, ask them to maybe take some of the responsibilities off of you. But like, you need to organize your professional life and your professional responsibilities in order to take better care of yourself. And then the new moon in the 1st house is asking you to bring forth new habits, to reinvent your look, to maybe, you know, color your hair a new color that will be exciting but also healthy for your hair, to invest in yourself, to pursue things that are just you versus other people's expectations of you. For Libra rising, there is a new moon in the 12th house, which is the dark house, the place of self-defeating notions, self-undoing tendencies. It's the place of healing, it's the place of isolation, and it's squaring Mars in the 9th house. So Mars in the 9th might like give you a lot of ideas, a lot of kind of like questions about what do you want to pursue, what do you want to study, where do you want to travel to, How do you want to expand your life? There might be like all these new ideas in your head, while the new moon in the 12th is saying that there's still some things you need to heal, that there are some things that you need to take care of first before you pursue all these things, and that you cannot pursue all the things. You need to narrow it down. Probably if someone is like counting how many times I said narrow it down, but this just like what this new moon feels like to me. Maybe you get a new business idea, right? But this new moon is saying like retreat, go away, take a break, look closely at yourself, meditate, slow down, because you need to look at what feels authentic, what feels right, what feels correct. I feel like the good thing here is that both of these houses in a way deal with astrology and spirituality, and they bring questions that are kind of big. So learning about astrology could be beneficial. Meditating, you know, if you unite the house of travel and education with the house of healing and self-defeating things, maybe you use astrology, spirituality, meditation as helpful tools, as tools to better yourself. So yeah, like take it easy. Virgo season for us Libra risings, this is the time to hibernate, it's the time to get away. So hence why I am, can you say hence why? Henceforth? Henceforth I am in France. I was complimented today for my French. So je suis très heureuse. But I speak a little bit of French. Every time they say I speak good French, I'm just like, you guys are so sweet. They probably just admire the fact that I, you know, make an effort. But yeah, could be very healing. Great time to take it easy, go away, take a step out from the busy world, because Libra season might be a lot more active for you. And you know, there's a lot of good things to look forward to with the Sun in Libra, and especially with Venus in Libra. All of the beauty will come our way. You know, more beauty, more, all the beauty. So for Scorpio rising, there's the new moon in the 11th house, and it's squaring Mars in your 8th. And I see this as the need to organize your finances. Mars in the 8th, take care of debts, take care of like literal debts you owe to people. Maybe you have like a mortgage or a loan that you need to pay off. Talk to your partner about the fairness in a relationship, about the effort that you put in, that they put in, because 8th house is the place of like give and take. And maybe there's been a sense of like a lack of balance, and there might be conflicts, right? Like moon square Mars, there might be tensions, and you're encouraged to talk about these uncomfortable topics openly. But ultimately, you are required, you're encouraged to organize finances, to pay off any debts, to free yourself from debts, or to build a better flow into your financial exchanges with other people in order to bring more peace and open up space to follow your dreams. Because for Scorpio risings, Leo season would have been heavy for your career, and there's like new beginnings, and maybe you're interested in pursuing new projects and meeting new people and going out there. And so this new moon is saying that like there's some debts that you have to take care of first, and also maybe narrow it down. Just saying narrow it down again and again and again. But maybe, you know, like trying to not spread yourself too much, trying to figure out which commitments, and if you are making any investments, right? Like which one of them are worth investing? Because Mars in the 8th house could also be very much like, oh, I want to spend on this, and I want to spend on this, and this project, and this renovation, and this. And like the new moon in Virgo will ask you like, well, what do you truly desire? What is your ultimate goal? And maybe don't do all of those things. Maybe do just a few things, right? Meeting new friendships, finding people who you like and resonate with. Volunteering could also be themes with this new moon in Virgo. For Sag rising, it's all about career. Virgo is your 10th house, and new moon in Virgo highlights that place of status, reputation, and career. At the same time as it's squaring Mars in your 7th house. So very literally, this could be like you are fighting with your partner, or you are investing all of your energy into dating. Maybe you've been like so focused on going out and spending time with your significant other, that now you're realizing that you need to like give attention to your work and your significant other feels abandoned. This might mean that like they are against your professional growth, or they somehow need your attention that takes away from your professional growth. There might be some sort of relationship engagements or business engagements that you have that need to be sorted out before you can take on new things professionally. But overall, this is the start of a new cycle of expressing yourself in a different way, of gaining recognition, starting a business, asking for a raise, getting promoted. There's a lot of exciting new things. You just may have to wait a little bit to get some clarity about the direction you want to pursue, and be aware that maybe at the moment it might seem like there's too many directions, too many possibilities. Could literally be like new moon in the 10th, you want to start your business, but then you already have a business with someone else, and how do you try to balance the two? But I think take that leap, just don't spread yourself too thin. For Capricorn rising, there's a new moon in the 9th house, and it's squaring Mars in the 6th house. With a new moon in the 9th, you want to expand. You want to pursue projects that are 9th house related. You want to travel. Maybe you want to start like a travel blog. You want to write because it's the house of publishing. You want to study. You may want to learn more about astrology, religion, spirituality. And then Mars in the 6th house is saying like, well, but you have bills to pay. Well, but you have to take care of these duties. Well, like there's all these health matters that demand your attention. So before you pursue the dreams and take care of these exciting, or follow those exciting opportunities, exciting new projects, you are encouraged to organize your daily life, to pay all the bills, to make all the doctor's appointments, to figure out your work situation, because maybe you are not in the best place with your colleagues right now, and perhaps you need to have a conversation with them or have some kind of better flow at your job in order to be able to pursue all these new things. So there's definitely new exciting possibilities, and you should be open to them and ready for them, but it's not necessarily going to be like all smooth and easy, right? With Mars being in the 6th house, don't be surprised if there's like some conflicts and some professional matters that are holding you back, or you need to address first. Or even if it feels like your work is just occupying your thoughts so much and maybe feels like it's blocking you currently, it's, things will get better. It's not just like going to be frustrating all the time. For Aqua rising, there's a new moon in your 8th house, and it's squaring Mars in the 5th house. Mars in the 5th house is encouraging you to have fun. It's encouraging you to maybe even exercise more if that's fun to you, because like sometimes sports are connected with the 5th house, to date more, to spend more time with children, to just like bring more action in your life. While new moon in the 8th is saying that there are some debts and there's some financial matters that you still have to take care of. For example, Mars in the 5th might be like, well, I want to become a yoga teacher, right? Like I really enjoy it. I'm going to do it full time. But the new moon in the 8th house says like, well, but you are an accountant right now, right? Like 8th house, other people's money. And this is a steady job, and it's a stable job, and it makes you feel secure. So in order to reach those dreams, in order to reach those new goals, you need to figure out some kind of better financial situation. This might also deal with because 5th house, Mars in the 5th is also children and dating, right? So maybe with the new moon in the 8th house, you need to introduce some kind of better boundaries and better rules when it comes to matters related to your kids or relationship matters, right? Like if things feel unfair, if things feel unbalanced, you may need to create like a better balance. And definitely look at look at your finances, look at what's happening in the resources you share with other people, and how you can, and think of how you can pay off some of the debts and bring like better balance in order to have more fun in life. And some of it, 8th house always is like the place of transformation. So you're definitely transforming something. You may be transforming a relationship. You maybe the life of your child is transforming. Maybe you're transforming a bad habit, right? Like if Mars in the 5th house makes you go gamble, or it makes you drink a lot, right? Like with the new moon in the 8th and in Virgo, it could be like, well, how can you release any negative self-defeating tendencies and bring forward a better version of yourself? And let me know how this resonates in the comments below. Finally, for Pisces rising, there's a new moon in the 7th house, your house of relationships, new beginnings, new partners, starting to date, committing to a relationship, starting a business partnership. You may see this might take a little bit to manifest, right? Because new moon tends to be like a 5-6 months long cycle. And it's squaring Mars in your 4th house. So this is interesting, right? Like Mars in the 4th can bring a lot of action in the family. It can bring a lot of action in the home. Like maybe you're just preoccupied with a lot of like family drama, or you're preoccupied with your living situation. Maybe you're like figuring things out, trying to, I don't know, sell your house, or you're dealing with some kind of like real estate matters that can be frustrating to your relationship, or can bring, maybe even the frustrations with the real estate or family matters bring new beginnings into your relationship. Maybe you have like an honest conversation with your partner and you become closer together with them, right? Like it doesn't need to be, I mean, new beginnings in a relationship can show up in a lot of different ways. It could be, let's get married, or it could be, now we accept each other for who we are and we don't expect a lot from the other person, or we don't have unrealistic expectations of the other person. Mars in the 4th house could also have to do with your childhood and family and things that you may have inherited from them, things that may have, you know, some kind of family drama that still lives on in you, and maybe it goes into your relationships right now. And maybe this could be the time when you look closely at your childhood patterns and your parents' relationships and how they affect your life. And yeah, it's just interesting because Mars in the 4th house could even be like, well, I have all these goals and I want to be independent and I want to live here. But the new moon in the 7th house is asking you to come closer with your partner and to be as one and, you know, try something new. So stay open to things, right? Like make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin. Make sure you're not just getting caught in the whirlpool of the old karmic patterns, and try to be more open to new possibilities. Also, watch out for being too critical of your partner or too stuck in your head with the idea of how relationships should be. Let them surprise you, and maybe the surprise will be quite positive. This is all I have. I hope you enjoyed another video from France. It's a very gloomy day, so today felt like really good to just work and focus on making YouTube videos. But let me know if you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.